Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Love behind bars. Is Todd and Julie Chrisley's marriage doomed? The Chrisley Knows Best and Chrisley Knows Prison subreddits are booming as Todd and Julie Chrisley were collectively sentenced to 19 years behind bars. In the end, the verdict was that Todd Chrisley would serve 12 years behind bars, and his wife Julie would serve 7. Unsurprisingly, the couple and their family are absolutely gutted by this verdict, as it means Chloe and Grayson will both be forced to finish growing up without their parents. Fortunately, their daughter Savannah Chrisley has agreed to step in as the guardian, though some fans wonder whether she's really capable of raising 2 children. One big topic of conversation on Reddit this week has been Todd and Julie Chrisley's marriage. Could their love survive 19 years behind bars? Would they be allowed to see or speak to each other during the 7 years that Julie is behind bars? Chrisley Knows Best fans think Todd and Julie's marriage is doomed. While it is important to take this information with a grain of salt, because it is all just fan chatter, one piece of information swirling around is that Todd and Julie aren't going to be able to talk to each other. Many individuals have pointed out that communication between prisoners locked up at different facilities is generally frowned upon. Moreover, fans aren't sure if they will be able to write letters, exchange phone calls, or exchange emails. At most, fans are speculating Julie and Todd will only be able to communicate through their children and their lawyers. Here's what some fans have had to say about the situation. There are, however, some individuals arguing the above information isn't true and that they will be allowed to communicate to some degree because they are legally married. From the outside, Todd and Julie Chrisley once embodied the definition of a power couple. With their sprawling Nashville mansion, perfectly coordinated family, and the witty banter that fueled Chrisley Knows Best, their lives seemed gilded in Southern charm and success. But now, as both serve federal prison sentences, Todd in Florida and Julie in Kentucky, the glossy image has cracked, revealing the very human strain of love tested by bars, distance, and time. What happens to a marriage when date nights turn into monitored phone calls? When private whispers are replaced by supervised visits and handwritten letters that take days, even weeks, to arrive? The Chrisleys' love story, once a television highlight, has transformed into a lesson in endurance, forgiveness, and the slow unraveling of a bond that may not survive the shadows of incarceration. The beginning of the end? When Todd and Julie began serving their prison sentences in 2023. 12 years for him, 7 for her. The world speculated whether their marriage could withstand such separation. At first, both seemed determined to show unity. Their children, Savannah and Chase, spoke publicly about their parents' unwavering love, sharing that they still prayed together and sent letters every day. But insiders close to the couple whispered a different story. That behind the polite smiles and family statements was a marriage struggling under immense pressure. Julie was always the glue, one alleged source claimed. Without her constant presence, Todd's need for control and structure has become more pronounced. They're in totally different worlds now. And indeed they are. Todd, ever the showman, has taken to maintaining routines in prison, leading small devotionals, mentoring younger inmates, and reportedly even helping with personal grooming advice. Julie, on the other hand, has struggled quietly. She's reportedly withdrawn, focusing on faith and introspection rather than socializing. 2 different coping mechanisms. 2 different lives. Love letters and lost time. Incarceration redefines love. For Todd and Julie, romantic gestures are now measured in ink and postage stamps. Letters, short calls, and carefully scheduled visits are their only lifelines. Todd has allegedly written pages upon pages to Julie, expressing his remorse for the choices that led them here and his fears about the damage to their family. Julie's responses are said to be gentler, more emotional, more resigned. She still loves him, a family friend supposedly shared, but she's begun to see the world differently. She's not the same woman who lived for luxury and appearances. Prison has humbled her. That humility may be what's creating distance between them. Todd has always been the charismatic center of attention, the orchestrator, the planner, the one who controlled the narrative. Julie, meanwhile, played the quiet partner, supportive but often secondary to his bold personality. Now, with time to reflect alone, she may be discovering who she is without Todd's spotlight. Faith tested. Faith was always central to the Chrisleys' brand. Todd quoted scripture as easily as he delivered a punchline, and Julie often shared prayers on social media. But faith in confinement is different from faith in freedom. It's not about image anymore, it's about survival. Reports from both facilities suggest that Todd continues to lead Bible study groups and see himself as a moral leader among inmates. Julie, however, has found solace in small acts of kindness, helping fellow inmates adjust, writing encouraging notes, even teaching Bible lessons once united them. It now seems to be evolving separately. Todd's remains bold, almost performative. Julie's is quieter, more personal. Their spiritual journeys, once parallel, are now diverging. The children's silent worries. Savannah Chrisley has been her parents' loudest supporter, becoming a de facto family spokesperson since their sentencing. She insists that her parents' love is unbreakable, and that their bond grows stronger each day. But even her optimism can't erase the cracks beginning to show. In interviews, Savannah has hinted at the emotional toll, how letters sometimes go unanswered, how phone calls are limited, how the absence of physical touch wears them all down. They're doing their best, she said, but it's hard. You can feel the distance. Chase, meanwhile, has remained quieter, focusing on his own projects. Friends say he's less confident that his parents' marriage will survive the separation. He loves them both, one insider suggested, but he knows how different they are when apart. He's worried they'll grow in opposite directions. Rumors of division. While no one close to the Chrisleys has confirmed it, rumors persist that Todd and Julie's relationship is cooling. Some allege that Todd's temper, once famous on Chrisley Knows Best, has resurfaced behind bars, particularly when communication delays or misunderstandings arise. Others whisper that Julie has begun to feel freer without his constant oversight. She's starting to think for herself in a new way, one anonymous tipster shared. Julie spent decades living under the pressure of perfection. Now, even though she's in prison, she's finding a strange kind of peace. That sentiment reflects what psychologists often observe. Incarceration can either strengthen or destroy marriages, depending on the couple's emotional foundation. The Chrisleys' relationship, once defined by teamwork and image control, may now be facing its most authentic test yet. One that fame can't fix and cameras can't edit. Could forgiveness heal them? If their marriage is to survive, forgiveness will be the bridge they must both cross. Not just forgiveness for each other, but for themselves, for the choices, the mistakes, and the years lost to pride and ambition. Sources close to Julie say she prays every night for Todd's peace of mind, but also for clarity about her own future. She reportedly wonders if God is using this separation to prepare her for a life of independence. Todd, meanwhile, has told friends he believes they'll come out of this stronger than ever, a testament to faith and commitment. But behind that optimism lies fear. Fear that time changes people. Fear that when the gates finally open, the person waiting outside might not be the same one who once held your hand through every storm. A love story still being written. Whether Todd and Julie Chrisley's marriage survives their incarceration or ends in heartbreak, one thing is certain. Their story is far from over. Theirs was never a simple romance. It was built on ambition, resilience, and faith under fire. They've faced public humiliation, legal battles, and separation, yet both still cling to hope in their own way. Perhaps love behind bars isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. About writing one more letter, making one more call, holding on to the belief that love, even when bruised and battered, can endure the darkest places. Still, as months turn into years, the question looms larger. Will Todd and Julie find each other again when freedom returns? Or will they realize that prison didn't just confine them? It set them free from the illusion that love alone could fix everything? Only time will tell whether the Chrisleys' bond will rise from the ashes or quietly fade like the closing credits of their once perfect show.